Hi guys, welcome back to Scraplift Saturday. This is the inspiration piece for the week, and this is the layout I am scraplifting. This is from Missy Widden, and I am really a big fan of her pages and such. I really like the mixed media that she does, so I am using that as my inspiration piece for this week's Scraplift. So first I'm going to be prepping my page. I'm just using some white textured cardstock and I'm prepping it with some gesso, and this is just a white gesso, and I'm using an old key card from a hotel as the thing to scrape the gesso across the page. And so I'm just going to kind of do that in kind of the area that I want the mixed media. As you noticed in the inspiration piece, or the piece that I'm scraplifting, a lot of the mixed media was to the left hand side. So I'm going to be using 3 different inks. I'm going to be doing the Lindy Stamp Gangs, the Shimmers, and the Mr. Hueys, and you just saw what those look like there. And I'm going to be using the packaging technique. I start using this without any water, but I do add a little bit of water to the Shimmers paint. It was a little bit too thick or dark for me, so I wanted to thin it out just a bit. So here I'm using the water to thin it out a bit, and I will put it down and then I'll dab it up with some paper towel, and then I'll put another layer down and just keep going through that process until I get the desired look that I want. I want to keep it kind of light. I don't want it too dark, so that's why I'm sopping up a lot of the stuff that I put down, but I want the different layers, and by adding the ink and then sopping it up and then adding another layer, you do get that kind of dimension that you wouldn't get if you just used the one layer. So I'm also using various colors of blue because I want to have that depth. So by using a little bit of different shades, that will give you different depth in this look. And in the end, you don't really see a whole lot of this. It's mostly covered up, but I just wanted that background to show through like it is in the inspiration piece, or in the Scraplift that I'm doing. So now I'm just sprinkling down that Jenny B. Blue Shimmers paint and just picking up some of those dots. So this time I'm just doing the splatters. And then I'm going to go in with the Lindy Stamp Gang next. And then the silver Mr. Hueys that I use, I'm going to end up just sprinkling that on the page. I'm not actually going to use the packaging technique for this. So I think I said earlier I used 3 colors of blue, but I actually only used 2. So in between the layers, I am going to use my heat tool to dry it up because I want to make sure that it is dry, because I don't want the colors mixing too much. I mean, they are both blue, but I do want to keep a bit of separation. The Shimmers ink that I'm using is I think it's called Colorings, I believe is the kind of it is, but basically it's a flat spray. And then the Lindy Stamp Gang actually has a shimmer to it. So again, you don't see a lot of this in the final layout, but I do like how it looks in the background when I put the other elements on top of it. So here I'm just dabbing up some of the excess and then drying up the layout. And then next I will come in with my Mr. Hueys Silver and then add sprinkles all over to the page. And in the end, I'm actually going to add some of these sprinkles on top of the embellishments, but I want to get the background kind of how I want it first, and then I'll put the elements on top, and then I'll put some more sprinkling of mixed media or the inks afterwards. So again, I'm just sopping this up. I will dry it up with my heat gun again. And then I'll move on to the pictures and such. Alright, so now I'm at the point where I'm going to finish drying this up, and I've already put down the mixed media that I want, and I'm going to be looking at the pictures, and here's a little quick look at the papers I'm going to be using. The papers are from Stampin' Up! Mostly. I think that darker pink one is just something I had in a paper pad for my stash. I don't remember the manufacturer of that one. But now I'm just playing with these photos. I started with 3x4 photos, but I realized they were just going to be a little bit too big for this layout, so I ended up shrinking them down just a bit. I think they might be 2x3 or somewhere around that. I don't have the exact measurements. I didn't put them in exactly. I just kind of made the borders thicker to make the pictures smaller, so I ended up doing that in pick frame to get these pictures tiny, and then I just printed them on my selfie. So now what I'm doing is I'm going through my paper and I'm going to be hand cutting all of these hearts. So they are going to look very much like the Missy Widden page, and she, I believe, hand cut them. I think I may have seen the video of her making the layout sometime in the past, but I didn't re-watch it this time. I just kind of went with the picture that I had and kind of went from there, but I believe that they are hand cut. So anyway, I hand cut all of these, and now I am taking this old Stampin' Up! Punch and then punching out some more hearts because I wanted some of the various smaller sizes to kind of sprinkle in. And then once I did that, I am now going to back all of my photos with some tissue paper, and you're not going to see me back all of these, but I am going to back all 3 photos. I'm just showing this first one because it looks the same for each of the photos. And I like the tissue paper. It's already kind of crinkly and stuff, and I like the texture it adds, and it seems kind of soft. It goes well with the baby pictures that I have here. And all of the pictures I have are black and white, and that is the same as the inspiration piece or the inspiration layout. And I like that, and I like how I can use the black and white images and then the colors and the hearts and stuff really pop. So now I'm just going to play around with these until I get the way I like it. I'll just keep adding and taking away and moving things around, and I'm going to start gluing down some of these hearts together because I want to have these hearts move as one, and I didn't want to lose them because I kind of liked how this looked. So something also that Missy Whitten does a lot is she adds a lot of tangled thread, and I probably added a little bit more than she would normally add to her pages, but I really wanted to tuck in a lot of this thread throughout the layout. So I'm going to start with the pink thread, and then I'm going to kind of fast forward, and I put it in about, I don't know, 4 or 5 different places, all by the right hand side of the photos and then the left hand side where the hearts are. And then I wanted to add a little pop of black. With the photos being relatively dark, I wanted to add a little bit of that dark black color also. So I thought, without making it too much, I came back in here in a little bit and I used black thread. And I really, really like how that looked. It just added a little bit. I tried to add it only to the edges so you didn't see a lot of the thread and you see more of the pink. But I just think it really added a nice touch and helped ground the whole layout and bring that black and white photos kind of throughout, that black color and the black and white photos throughout the page. So here's where I'm adding that black thread. Again, you're going to kind of see me doing it for a couple little clusters, but I am going to do it throughout the layout, and you'll see in the close-ups kind of how that looks sprinkled out throughout the layout. So now I am going to be finishing up here on the last little part, and then I'll just add some glue here to make sure the string doesn't move or the thread doesn't move. And then I'm going to come through and I'm going to end up sewing everything. As you can see here, I sewed through the middle of a couple of the hearts with the same black thread, again bringing that black across the page. Now I'm going to kind of fluff up the hearts a bit, and then after I fluff them, I'm going to take some fun foam here and I'm going to add that up to the back of the page a bit. Or I'm sorry, the back of the page, the back of the hearts, just to kind of keep that dimension, because once you put it in a layout or a pocket protector, it does seem to flatten out, and so I wanted to keep that kind of dimensional there. So that is all done. I'm just pressing it down because I had the glue there, and here it now says the title, and the title is Welcome Miss Vanessa. I used some thickers for the welcome, and then the Miss Vanessa part is from the October Afternoon Daily Flash set, where it has like the scripty letters on the one side and then the block letters on the other. So I'm going to be adding this in here, and I think you might hear my kitty cat. He likes to bring socks up and talk. So sorry about that. Anyway, there's my layout, and now, or there's my title. And then I'm going to take this Stampin' Up! Punch that I used earlier, and I just take this yellow or this pink washi tape that has gold on it, and I put it down on a piece of paper, and then I am adding those hearts, or I punched it out, and then I'm going to add those hearts throughout the layout. I wanted a little touch of gold because I found some embellishments that I wanted to use that were gold, and I thought this would go nice and integrate nice with the layout. So here is that embellishment I was talking about. It says This Way to Happiness, and I thought that was perfect for a picture of the baby and her parents because it's just a cute picture. And so I'm just kind of going through all of my stash and my die cuts and stuff, trying to figure out little die cuts that will fit well with this page. And I also apologize for the lighting. I did this over like a 3-day period and at different times of the day, so the lighting does change kind of frequently throughout this video, so I apologize. You can also tell that I'm wearing different clothing. But anyway, I really like how that's looking, so I'm going to keep it that way. And then I'm going to go in and add some additional things. I didn't really like that capture the moment. It was just looking a little bit too heavy or not quite the right pink. So I found this vellum piece that I've had from Maggie Holmes' collection from quite some time, and I'm going to use that because I thought the phrase was perfect. I'm looking through these blue die cuts, and I thought I might use something blue, but ultimately the only thing I'm going to end up using is a flare badge in the top right between the 2 upper pictures there. And it's just going to be a little fluffy cloud with little rainbow raindrops coming out of it. And I thought it was cute, and the blue matched the layout, and I just wanted something else a little bit more dimensional up there. So I'll be pulling it out here in just a second from this little container. And I do sort a lot of my embellishments by color. I find that when I'm trying to add things to a layout, I'm usually looking for something that's yellow or blue or green. So what I've done is I've used these little photo holders, and I've stashed all of my embellishments that are that particular color in those photo holders. I have stickers and things elsewhere that are still on the sheets that I do keep just kind of randomly, but for like the loose items and things like the stamps that I've stamped a bunch of and cut out, I have put those in those little containers. So now I use my Xyron sticker maker to stick down that vellum piece because it won't show the vellum, or not vellum, I'm sorry, it won't show the adhesive. So I thought that was a good way of doing that. And then now I am adding a little bit of foam to the back of this flare button, and I'm going to glue that down to the page. And that's pretty much going to do it. I think the last thing that I end up doing on this is just adding in the extra sprinkles that I had mentioned earlier. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to glue down these hearts that were still loose that I hadn't glued down. And so while I'm doing all that, I just want to thank you guys so much for joining me. Hopefully you will join us over on our Facebook group at the Crafty Maven. If you're interested in anything else that I do, you can head over to my social media outlets. They're all in the links below in the comment section or in the description section. If you have any questions about anything that I used today or any techniques or just have any kind of questions that you want to ask, you can leave those also in the comments below. If you haven't already subscribed to the Crafty Maven, make sure you do that, and make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up so YouTube knows that you guys like our stuff. And that's pretty much it. Oh, I forgot that I am going to add a little bit of journaling at the end, so you're going to see that here in a second. I add a date stamp in journaling, so I almost forgot about that. So this is a pretty busy layout. It's definitely a little bit darker and heavier than the layout that I scrap lifted, but I do really like how it turned out. I thought it just looked fun. It's a little bit different than what I've done before in the past, especially the hand cutting. That's something I've never really done before, I don't think, on a page. So I was kind of outside my comfort zone. It was nice to do something different. So I'm pretty excited that I was able to find this layout and utilize it with the inspiration piece for the weekend. So anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me. Stay tuned for the still shots at the end, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye guys.